Well, you probably recognize where we are. We're doing lots of interviews here. I'm still going to get into some people's homes, but some people are just busy, like this guy here. But thanks to Lambton Metal Service for allowing us the space here today. And you maybe don't recognize the guy. You might know him when he talks. Max Major.
Hey,
How you doing, buddy?
Great. I'm doing great. And it's funny you mentioned not being recognized because we just got back from the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
And all over the resort, hey, are you Max from the radio? Like, I literally got called out a bunch on vacation. It's like, okay, neat. Even as a Z-grade Sarnia celebrity, I can still get spotted 2.5 years after I left radio.
Yeah,
so,
right.
hey.
Right. Well, that's cool. Right. That's a little bit of validation for you and what you did at the radio, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, it's always nice to know I didn't overstay my welcome. That's always what I say.
Yeah. Well, I always have the people who watch know I got a couple of cliche questions, but you grew up around Sarnia. Actually, it was out in Kamlaki, was it?
Kamlaki, baby.
Yeah. What was that like? Were you a party guy?
No, I'm a massive nerd. So my parents always tell me about growing up, like up until I was 2 years old, we lived in Sarnia, and I'd play out in the backyard and stuff like that. And then we moved out to Kamlaki, and we had this big open backyard that backed onto like a field and a forest.
Yeah.
And they'd put me out back, and I would just sit I was scared to do anything.
Oh.
I think it might have turned me into an indoor boy at first. So, but eventually, no, I remember a lot of street hockey.
Very nice.
Me and my buddy Aaron Cooper built this gigantic tree fort out in the woods, which is now being paved into a subdivision. But back then, you could rip a dirt bike through that forest or make a tree fort. And no, growing up in Kamlaki was cool up until you were a teenager, and then everything's in Sarnia. So as soon as you're 16 years old, you're getting your G1 and you're trying to get your parents' car and be anywhere but Kamlaki.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I'd love to live out there again, but somewhere along the line it became chic and unaffordable, and now only the really wealthy can live out there, and I can't. But someday maybe I'll be able to get back out there.
It takes time.
Yeah.
And then the other cliche question is school. Did you enjoy school?
Errol Village Public School, walking distance from my house I grew up in on King Street. Yeah, I really enjoyed that place. It's neat that my nephews go there now. Completely different school basically now. They've put so much work into it, but no, I was always into school, especially history and anything that wasn't math.
Right. Yeah, I'm there with you, buddy.
Yeah. Well, it's a radio DJ.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
No math. It's great. Love it. Yeah.
I hear you. I remember the first time I heard of you and then met you, because I heard you first, of course, and then I thought Max Major. It can't be his real name, right? Max Major. That just sounded so natural for that's a cool name.
Yeah, I got cool parents.
Hi, I'm Max Major. Well, where did they put a lot of thought into that, or was it, does Max come from somewhere?
No, there's no epic story.
It's just a rhyme.
Yeah, to be honest, we always joke that my parents mixed up like the dog naming book with the baby naming book, because my brother's name is Sam.
Yeah.
Max and Sam. Max and Sam are like the two biggest dog names. But yeah, there are names too. No, there's no I thought back in the 80s, where I was born, maybe it was a Max Headroom thing or a Maxwell Smart. There was a bunch of Maxes at the time, but no, I think my dad just literally went through a book and went, "Oh, that one sounds cool."
I'm disappointed. I was hoping for a big story out of that.
No, but it's not a stage name. You're right. A lot of people think it is something that I made up for work.
Because a lot of people do that in radio, just to have a little ring to it, right?
Exactly. But no, that's just the name I got when I was born. Shout out to Jean-Marc and Jennifer Major. They're just cool people.
Yeah, right on. And brothers and sisters?
Sam, my younger brother, that's about it.
Yeah.
He continued the family legacy in the Chemical Valley, and I'm the weird black sheep that seems to try to find anything but the Chemical Valley to work in.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Me too. I wasn't going there.
Yeah. No, it's for some people and not for others. But yeah, my brother's over at Esso, just like my dad and my uncle and my grandfather, and yeah.
And then there's Max.
And there's me. I got into radio. That was my initial career anyway.
Yeah. We'll get to that. what was it like growing up? Like, I know you say Kamlaki, but like family stuff. You know, like, did you guys travel? Did you do like?
Yeah, my folks every summer would take us camping somewhere. So I've been to a lot of the provincial parks. Probably Bon Echo near Kingston was my favorite. But like we went to Charleston Lake, which is like the Ottawa area, or like Superior, or like these are far away. We did just go to the Pinery every summer. We toured around.
That's great.
Family life, my mother's side of the family was very tight, and my cousins grew up 2 doors down from me, so they're almost like brothers and sisters of my own because they lived so close. And I came from a family of guitar players, so like whenever we'd go camping, they all sit around and play guitar. A lot of Neil Young, a lot of Cat Stevens, a lot of Pink Floyd, or so that really got me into a lot of the music that started me. And I never really took to the guitar, so I would try to contribute by singing, because that was like, I'm a drummer, so it's kind of lame to sit there around the fire. Like, Welcome to the Machine by Pink Floyd doesn't have a clapping part, or, but old man, take a look at my life.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So anyways, I would just try to sing, and but that was one of my favorite parts of growing up, and they still bust out the guitars sometimes.
Nice.
And it's my favorite.
I remember the first time I heard you sing.
Yeah.
It was a karaoke. I was still doing karaoke. It was at, I think it was called Eclipse one night, and you went up and sang the Ace of Spades. And you just gave her. And I was like, wow, I'm never going to look at Max the same again. I mean, it was awesome. Don't get me wrong.
I appreciate it.
You had the hair flipping around and everything.
Yeah, I like karaoke a lot. It's one of the most fun things that you could ever do. And I'm not a great singer. Like, I've been in these theater shows in Theater Sarnia and the Imperial Theater. Like, they've got vibrato. They have this effortless. I can at least keep a tune. Like, I'm not off.
You did Sarnia Sings too one year.
I did do Sarnia Sings the 1 year. I did Helter Skelter by the Beatles.
You rocked it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I like to sing. Even my daughter, when I'm just doing dishes around the house and stuff like that, I'm always singing or doing something. Like, so I like to sing. And going to Japan and having a chance to do karaoke there was a lot of fun as well. So yeah, no, I still dabble in karaoke a lot, and
cool.
And I can still do the Ace of Spades, the Lemmy Kilmister, make it sound like you're singing after gargling thumbtacks and whiskey, like that kind of voice. I'm pretty good with that. Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, well, let's go now to the point where you've grown up, you've had some fun, and now it's you got to get a little serious. And what are you going to do with your life, kind of thing. So. Did you just go right to radio, or was there? I mean, you maybe had little jobs in between to get you there, but did you just go right to radio?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that right? Like, where did that come from, and why radio? Like, who said like, oh, you should be in radio?
To be honest, I was in high school at the time, St. Clair, which is no more. Now it's Great Lakes.
Great Lakes. Yeah.
But back when it was St. Clair, I just wanted to do a co-op, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to co-op at the radio station? I love music and I don't shut up. It just seemed like a good fit. And it just kind of turned out that I had an aptitude for it. So they got this high school co-op kid that they started kind of training and letting do more and more stuff. And it came time after school to think about what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And that was right after I interviewed Steven Tyler from Aerosmith.
Yeah.
It was like, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? I want to do that. I want to do like
Were you a co-op student when that happened?
Yeah, I wasn't
I wasn't
fully in radio at that point. I hadn't even gone to college yet.
Tell I know the story, and it's a great story. So tell that story. Kind of cool.
So
very cool, actually.
The year that Aerosmith came for Bayfest, you weren't allowed anywhere near them, right? Like, you couldn't look at them wrong or they wouldn't go on stage. Like, they were very serious about no backstage stuff, which wasn't a big deal for me because I was just the co-op kid back at the radio station. So I was the one on the soundboard having to put people on live on location. People like Dave Burgess back in the day or Rob Jenkins, they were backstage, and I'd be the one,
the board operator,
20 minutes away on the other side of town, putting them on and all that. But anyway, we all got free tickets to go to Aerosmith or any of the Bayfest lineup. So I was told the last minute, hey, we want you to leave early and go back across town and just do a live radio show for everyone stuck in their cars. Like, basically, because trying to leave Bayfest was a traffic jam.
Right.
So like, just go do a thing, young buck.
Okay.
We're giving you free reign to just like,
Here you go.
yeah, go do a show.
Here's the
We want
controls.
someone live on while everyone's stuck in traffic. So I thought that initially kind of sucked. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll leave halfway through Aerosmith and drive across town and I'll jump on air. And fine, I did my thing. The next day it was Def Leppard that was going to be live, and Rob Jenkins was backstage at the Def Leppard thing, and I was back in the studio doing the soundboard. And I get a call to the studio. Hi, it's Steven Tyler's personal assistant. Is Max Major there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, the guys were listening to you on the limo on the way to town, and they loved you, man. Steven Tyler wants to talk to you once they fly into PEI. That was the show they were doing next, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So, like, we're going to call you back in 20 minutes. Then he's going to land. When he's in makeup, we're going to call you, and he wants to talk to you. Okay.
No.
Yeah, I get on the horn like, Rob, Steven Tyler says he's going to call the radio station, and he wants to talk to me.
I don't know
what to do. Yeah. And I felt like there was like a hierarchy, right? It's like, can someone call Dave Burgess and like make him come into the studio? Like, he's the morning guy. He's the main guy. I'm like,
I'm just a kid.
I'm just a kid, man. Like, I feel like someone who's been doing this should be doing this because this is huge. They wouldn't even talk to anybody, and now they're going to talk to us.
But he asked for you, though.
He asked for me, I know. And 20 minutes turned into like an hour and a half. It was like rock star time, right? They kept checking in. It was like, is he ever going to call? And then he did. Hey, what's up, Max? And just like, oh, hey, Steven Tyler. Like, and he was talking about the experience. He was talking about listening to me cutting to the other summer patrollers that were on top of the big boombox that was always parked at the front, and they were giving out swag. And anyway, he just loved the whole vibe and just talked about how great Sarnia was. And at the time, he was at the, like, I would say the second peak of his career. He was on American Idol. Like, he was a household name again. Yeah. And it just was unbelievable that this man took time out of his day.
Did you record it?
I did, yes. I still have it. I have it on a thumb drive.
That's good.
As well as all my other favorite little radio bits. But that was the first one.
Yeah.
So again, I'm in high school. I go back to the high school the next day.
You were famous at high school.
Oh yeah, I was high-fiving everyone. And what do you want to do with the rest of your life?
That's cool.
Like, little did I know that those days of radio were kind of already winding down at the time, and the industry was about to...
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
It's changed a lot, and Bayfest was gone not too long. But either way, at that time, that was like the coolest thing that could ever happen. I want to do that. So I went to school for it. Dave Burgess gave me the option to just stay, never go to school, and just
work your way
go right into the radio station from there. And I was like, nah, I want the experience. I want the schooling. I want to get away for a bit.
Are you glad you did it that way?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. What I learned at Humber in radio broadcasting, what I learned in just living in Toronto for 2 years, like that was the big city and navigating that, being away from your folks, doing things on your own. That was...
So how old were you when you went to Humber?
18.
Yeah.
Like I went straight away.
Yeah.
And then... And then, I just really, really wanted to prove it. I could make it in this industry. So I took my first full-time job in Kirkland Lake, Ontario.
Oh, wow.
A tiny little mining town of 8,000 people, 8.5 hours north of here.
Right.
CJ Kale, the North's best variety. And that was where I cut my teeth. And again, I moved to the middle of nowhere to this town. I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't even have my own car yet. Hey, Mom and Dad, I need a lift with my paltry amount of belongings up to this mining town you've never heard of. That's where I'm going to live now, by the way.
How were they with all of that?
Oh, scared.
Yeah.
Can you swear on this thing? Do you beep it in post, or do you...
They were scared.
Yeah, they were scared. Okay, so... So yeah. And there was a big mining boom at the time, so all the places to live were bought up. It's like a triangle up there, right? There's the gold striking in Sudbury, Timmins, or Kirkland Lake, and they need enough like disposable housing, like just rentable housing, that all the miners can just huddle there, mine, and then Sudbury's got the next. They all go over to Sudbury, and But at the time, Kirkland Lake was hot, and I had nowhere to live. I lived out of a hojo for like a month.
Oh, wow.
And my folks were just like so scared to leave me because I couldn't even find a place to live. And it was just, it was a whole thing. But
looking back at all of that, was that part of the experience, I guess, of
100%.
becoming who you are.
Huge character building.
Yeah.
Huge. I mean, at the time, it was so weird leaving everything you love and know and that is familiar behind. But I had a goal, and my goal was to do the morning show for K106.3 someday.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. I didn't think I'd be able to do it from within either. I feel like I would have been stunted. I wanted to prove to them that I could do it anywhere, do it somewhere else.
You paid your dues.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then came back the real way, the way you should.
Yeah.
So I did. I cut my teeth up in Kirkland Lake. I got my first morning show in Timmins.
Yeah, Timmins.
Yeah,
That was like a step up from Kirkland, wasn't it?
it is. Like,
No, I mean like not. I just mean in the radio world, like you were going.
oh, it definitely is.
Yeah.
I just laugh because like Kirkland Lake, even to get to a Walmart, you had to drive an hour.
Wow.
So like Timmins
I wouldn't have survived.
Timmins had a mall. Timmins had a Walmart. Timmins had all these things. So I didn't have to.
That's where Shania Twain's from too, right? I think.
Reluctantly,
Yeah.
that's a whole thing. They tried making a Shania Twain museum up there. Go ahead and Google where the Shania Twain museum is now. It's not there.
Really?
Spoiler alert: it didn't
Okay.
work, and she barely gave anything to it because she doesn't really like Timmins.
Really?
Yeah, she
Wow.
ran the Olympic torch through there. I remember that would have been like the Vancouver Olympics.
Oh wow.
And everyone was so psyched, but she didn't stay or like do anything. It was
Yeah.
like she did the hometown thing and then left, and this museum was basically left to like rot, and it did. But yes, that's the big
So
thing.
how
about
long were you in
Timmins.
Timmins then?
2 years.
Yeah.
And if you ever make it to Timmins, I heard there's a place I love is still there. It's called Chez Nous.
Okay.
It's an all day and night variety store / poutineery. Like it makes
Okay.
poutine and it's a variety store. And this is back before Skip the Dishes. This is back before Uber
Yeah.
Eats. They would be open anytime and drive and deliver to you anytime anything that they had.
Really?
So you could be 2 a.m. hammered on Christmas and you could call Chez Nous and
They'd bring it.
they'd bring it. And they had an unofficial item. They couldn't actually advertise this because it's illegal. But back in the day, it was called the Frenchman Special. It was a large Quebec-style poutine, a 2-liter of Pepsi, and a pack of Demoriers. And they would drive it right to your door.
Oh, wow.
if you asked for it by name. But you couldn't advertise that they did that. It's called Chez Nous. It's still there, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah. I was actually, like I said, I just got back from the Dominican Republic, and I was talking to a guy from Timmins, and I was like, please tell me Chez Nous is still there. And he said, it is, and it's still awesome. So, yeah.
So then you came back to town and
No, Belleville. I got another morning show
Oh,
in
is that
Belleville.
right?
That was what
Okay.
got me south. So now I was only a 4-hour drive in a town of 65,000. So,
okay, you're growing.
yep, it was. It was getting a little bit bigger, and I always, whenever I came home to visit family, would drop by the radio station here in Sarnia and be like, hey, now I'm in here in this town this big. Just let me know if anything opens up.
Yeah.
And but then, yeah, one day I got the call. Dave Burgess was out, and morning show's open. You want to come home?
Wow.
I was like, yeah, I do. I really do. That's been the point. That's what I want to do. And I did.
And it was quite a journey.
Yeah, and it's neat, like coming out the other side of it, having kids, like who are now maybe like teenagers or whatever, tell me that they grew up listening to me, like I grew up listening to Dave Burgess
Right.
and
I hear ya.
Woody and all that. It just
Yeah.
that's neat. I did it for 10 years straight, like just the morning show. I mean, my tenure with the Sarnia radio has been much longer than that, but for
Yeah.
10 years straight, I did the morning show.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have no regrets. It was.
I remember, and we talked about it before we were in the camp, and I did a tryout with you.
You did?
And it was like, you were like, welcome to Stupid O'Clock, Burrows.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah. See, I was a DJ. I worked in the bars. I was always up till 2, 3 in the morning. It was when I went to bed.
Yeah.
And you want me to what?
Yeah.
And
Get up at 4 a.m.
Stupid O'Clock. I never forgot that. But you've slept with a lot of people. Because you're the radio's beside the bed, right? So
Yeah.
You've slept with a lot of people.
I've also showered with a lot of people.
Right?
I've pooped with a lot of people. No, and I have had people say that, like, man, I listen to you when I'm in the shower.
Yeah.
weird. I don't need to know that.
Right? Yeah. What I really enjoyed, I could just let them go. I don't really have to say anything, but I appreciate you sharing that journey. What I really noticed about you, Max, through all of this and the time that you and I got to know each other and have a bit of a friendship, and is your attachment to the community. Through radio, you were able to, and I guess maybe allowed to, promote some of the things that are dear to your heart. And one of them is mental health.
Very much so.
And then I know you did like the 24-hour, what was it called? I forget. Playing for Charity.
Yeah, it was Trapped in the Mall for the first 6 years of it. We trapped ourselves in the Lambton Mall in like a little mini living room that we had to live in for 24 hours straight and live stream video games.
Right.
I mean, back when we started it in 2015, like live streaming was just kind of starting to kind of catch steam. Twitch was very different.
Yeah.
It just seemed like a fun, weird way to raise money. Because the prior way I had raised money was getting live waxings on the radio. And I raised money, but it was like, I can't do this over and over again.
I remember we did the Movember thing, and I came in, you were in, and we were like getting our shaved on radio. And I remember thinking, I don't understand. Nobody can see this.
Yeah. Well, with the waxing, it was, they could hear it for sure. When you ripped a strip off of me, I'm not a hairless cat.
40-year-old virgin.
That's exactly it. Yes. Kelly Clarkson. Like, yes. So me and my buddy Daryl Heater brainstormed. Like, how do I make how do we make money for the community? Using our nerdy hobbies.
That's creative.
Yeah, and it was through his knowledge of the tech side of it.
Twitch and
how to live stream and audio and all that, and my just community connections and things like that. I managed to go to the mall and allow, like on Black Friday, get them to allow us to live in that place for 24 hours straight, unsupervised. I mean, you could tune in anytime you wanted. I guess we were supervised, but you know what I mean.
I do, yeah. No, that's the thing. No, they had to let you in, and you got some great sponsors out of it. That you had the couches there and everything.
Yeah, every year we'd get more and more great community sponsors. We tried raising money for a lot of different organizations at first. Like we were raising money for Noel's Gift and then Big Brothers Big Sisters. Every year we wanted to rotate a different children's charity. But then we got to St. Clair Child and Youth in the third year. And I don't know, it just really clicked. They just, they seemed like they weren't getting as much attention as some of the other organizations, and what they were doing spoke to me so profoundly. Like to be able to give mental health and addiction counseling to young adults and teens and their families, it's something that always needs to remain free and accessible.
I agree.
And through the 10 years that we did that, we raised over $50,000 total. Yeah. Like I'm kind of tearing up thinking about it. It's just like, that's insane. Amazing. Absolutely.
I remember I felt I missed it this past year, but I watched all of them, and I remember thinking, wow, that's kind of cool, you know. And of course, being a live streamer myself, I was like, yeah, that's right on that. They're picking up on that thing and running with it. And then St. Clair Child, all of it really resonated with me, and it did with so many. You
came and played Mario Kart the one time though. There was the 1 year. Yeah. Very beginning. Like I don't mind that you don't remember. Like we're going back.
We did it at the radio station too, right? We were in there and we played. Yes. We did kind of a practice thing, I think, and then I was like, yeah, that's right. I forgot about
like we're going back.
I remember now.
Yeah. But you did play some Mario Kart.
Pretty sure I think we need a rematch.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I was about to tell you that you ran your mouth off pretty hard. And
I did. Me?
Yeah. Me?
I would never.
But no, you always...
I was pretty sure I was like threatening you. I'm going to kick... I think we even went on the radio. Or
something. Yeah, we had the...
And I was like, we did the I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to run you over and you're going to get mushroomed to death. And
you had just started this.
And he killed me.
Blue shells. No, but you were just starting this at the time, and you helped us out with getting the word out as well.
It'll be 14 years in November for the show. Yeah, so right around that time.
You were hot on the grind at that point, and you helped us get the word out, and I'm always grateful to you for doing that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why we connected so well, because of our community is attached to our heart and everything. And
it's the community thing is really important. I can even tie it back to us talking about growing up in Sarnia and things like that. Like I felt like I was the only kid who, growing up, wanted to be here and come back here. Everyone else said they wanted to leave, still wound up here all the same.
Yeah. Never left. I never left.
No, and I did
never
for the
had a
sole
reason
purpose
to.
of coming back better.
Yeah,
and
no,
bringing
that's
that back.
fine. Yeah.
And,
But you had the intention of that, right? Yeah.
Indeed. So community is so...
Indeed. That's a really common word for you these days.
Well, I have to say that, Indeed has been very important. It's the only social media I use anymore because the rest of them make my brain sad.
Yeah. Because you're not on Facebook.
No, as soon as I left the radio and I didn't have to be on social media anymore,
gone. I know. I remember you had an account, but it was very, very minimal. Like nobody really knew. And
it was under the fake name Biff Webster.
There was another one I thought you had before that too. It was a name of a character in a video game or something. Anyway,
probably Spud Crowley. It's all from a George Carlin bit about the best names ever.
But that was so you could have access to what you had to do at the radio and stuff.
Yeah. But no, as soon as I didn't professionally need to be involved with social media anymore.
Why not?
Like I said, it makes my brain sad. I used to be that guy who would be in the comment section trying to change your mind, trying to fight you, trying to, offer
How'd that
facts.
go?
Oh, exactly. You just get angrier and angrier, and you just all day, like, has the guy responded to this yet? Like, you get sucked into it. And I used to refer to it as like being in the trenches. Like you'd throw on your helmet every morning and go to war with anyone you could.
Talking to the choir, Max. I've had, and
it's toxic and poisonous, and
it can be. I mean,
it was for me. Like
well, you're in a different world. See, because I always tell people, I say, really, go to my Facebook. You won't see anything negative.
I texted Rob Jenkins the other day, who's still the program director.
He's great.
And I was like, I am so glad I am not on air anymore because you would have to pull me off. I can't get in front of a microphone, see what's happening in the world right now, and try to sidestep it.
So you follow closely then what's going on with that stuff, or did you just start watching because of what was happening with it?
It's funny, like I talked to my dad growing up in the raising children in the 80s.
You say grow up.
Sorry, not growing up.
You were born in the 80s.
Yes.
I was in high school.
Raising kids in the late 80s and early 90s, and he's like, I didn't get into the weeds. I didn't get into any of this stuff. I didn't even know what was happening in the world. If I didn't look at that piece of paper that showed up on my door, or if I didn't tune into that one guy at 5 o'clock telling me what the news was, you didn't know what was going on. And that sounds blissful at this point because I think we're too informed. There's too much coming at us.
It could be. Our brain can only handle so much.
And it's insane. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
And I had that choice, though. You didn't have that choice.
Well,
when you're in radio, right? Because you had there was a certain...
Well, yeah, there's a line you have to toe, and again, don't get into the weeds, but I can't help it sometimes, and this is why, is because I literally am trying not to worry about things on the global level. Shrink your world down, worry about your community. Like if you can't handle what's happening right now in the world, which it is March the 5th, 2025?
Well, as we're recording, it's March the 6th,
March 6th?
Yeah.
Cool, that's good to know. But yes, we are 1 day or 2 days into the great American betrayal and the trade war. Like, how can you not get sucked into that? But again, try to block it out. Think small, think local. Well,
let's shift gears though to something nicer, which is your family now. I mean, you found the love of your life, and then how could you not know that he was having a daughter? Because you talked about it on the radio. A very proud dad.
That was
somehow that always got brought in, and that's cool, right? And now she's what, 2?
She's gonna be 4.
What the hell?
In 1 month.
Wow, what's her name?
Sophia.
And
if you want to talk about cool names, I like to think I maybe, hopefully, trumped my father. Her full name is Sophia Ursa Major. Ursa Major is like the Great Bear constellation, like the Big Dipper is part of it. Big part of the Northern Hemisphere. So she has this like constellation built into her like middle and last name combined, Sophia Ursa Major. And I thought that was really cool. If it was a boy, we were going to name him Tom, so it would be Major Tom, like Thomas Major.
Yeah.
So at school, like, hey, Major Tom, and then his name would be a giant David Bowie joke, but wordplay had to be part of it.
So what's it like being? Well, I mean, first you were a husband, right, and your wife Julia, right? You know,
yep. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes us with the baby carriage.
Yeah.
It was neat. So many people in the community remember that because we were in lockdown at the time, and I was again trying not to talk about all of these horrible things happening, and just okay, well, I'm having a kid, and people seem to really like that. Listeners made me. I have this huge quilt that's made for Sophia that a listener donated. There's so many things that got donated during that time because I think people just felt that good energy, like that. Oh, life goes on, even in the midst of all this awfulness. And Sophia was born in the middle of lockdown. And it was
was that hard for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You struggled through COVID, like.
Yeah, it was okay. It was we made it okay through COVID. I know a lot of families that had a really hard time, but it's funny. Like our marriage, like our wedding, got ruined by COVID. We couldn't do it, and our honeymoon, we just did it now to the Dominican 5 years after we got married, and then Sophia was like the one thing the pandemic couldn't take from us. So full steam ahead. We went ahead with it, and no, it was actually kind of perfect because when you're a parent, you can't do anything anymore, right? Like you always feel like you're what do they call that? FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have there was no FOMO. No one was doing anything. There was no concerts that I'm missing. There's no party that's going on that I can't go to. Everyone's stuck in their houses, and so am I with this adorable little baby.
Yeah. And does she keep you in line?
Yeah, she does. She's a little spitfire, and much like her dad, she's got a mouth on her. So, she does. She surprises me all the time. The fact that she's going to be 4 soon is absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah.
She's becoming a person, and I think it's been really fun just introducing her to things that I liked as a kid that are age appropriate for her, and her either gravitating towards or not gravitating towards certain things. The 2 things that have stuck big time: Sonic the Hedgehog and Rush.
Yeah, right.
Well, during when she was a little baby, what do you watch? Like, I don't want to watch Cocomelon or anything. Like, what can I watch that's appropriate for a child that'll keep their attention that I will want to watch too? I thought about throwing on Neil Peart drum solos.
Right.
And she loved them. So then we just started watching Neil Peart drum solos. And then that just turned into watching live Rush footage. And then we got her a drum set. And
you're creating a Rush monster.
Bath time last night, she wanted Rush.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, you're a huge Rush fan.
Huge Rush fan.
I always noticed that in the playlist on K106. There was always just there's a bit of extra Rush going on there today.
Well, Rush always gets on because
Canadian
content. For those of you that don't know, you must play 35% Canadian content at all times or risk losing your license. Yeah. So that's why you hear Nickelback. That's why you hear April Wine. That's why you hear all those bands. You wonder why do I? Yeah, that's why. Yeah, lots of hip.
Yeah.
But lots of Rush. Yeah. Now, when you heard Weird Rush, that was me.
Yeah.
It's like when you didn't hear Tom Sawyer, but you
I always knew when you picked
Witch Hunt or something. That was a Max pick.
Yeah.
That's something near and dear to me that I've been able to bond with my daughter, which has been incredible. Sonic the Hedgehog's the other thing. That was the first video game I really ever played, and so I started her on it. It's all you have to do is move right and jump, right? It's very simple stuff, and she's been able to beat the first level on her own. When she gets frustrated, she'll hand me the controller and you do it. Okay. And you try to, help them and without doing it for them, and watching her get better at that's been a lot of fun. And now she has a whole Sonic costume and so much more cool stuff out now than when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You didn't have all the merchandising. You had the video game, but not an entire media arm behind it with all these cool toys. And anyways, I'm kind of reliving my childhood through her.
Well, that usually happens.
Yeah.
That's okay. And where's Julia in all of this? She works and are you both working?
Julia's still at home with Soph, and she's been doing a bang-up job.
Yeah. That's great that she can do that.
Yeah. yeah, we've been trying to keep the boat afloat with just me, just until we can get Sophia into school, which will be in September.
That's crazy.
So,
right?
so now, yeah, like, so I know right now Julia is really thinking about like what to do when she re-enters the workforce for the first time, and after like a 4-year maternity leave, essentially. But yeah, like she's done such a great job at home, and such a great job with her daughter, and yeah, I know it's going to be hard for both of them when it's time to.
Sure.
One goes to school and the other goes back to work,
yeah.
and
that's part of the growth, right?
Yeah, but so much good time together.
What have you learned being a husband and a father?
Patience is a virtue.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Like, no, kidding aside, the biggest thing to learn about being a parent and a husband, I guess, is that the days are long, but the months and years are short. Mm-hmm. So even when it feels like the day has gone on forever because you've worked and now you're right into the thick of it, and now you're parenting and being an active dad when you get home and also helping out with the dishes and, you know, doing all that stuff, it can feel like the day goes on forever, and then you blink and now it's
time for bed.
Yeah, or even now it's June, or now it's September. Now like the year is just gone. Like the day was long, and they feel long sometimes with all of that hoopla, but like it just melts time. Like you said, you thought Sophia was like 2. She's almost 4. Like it's. But that's everyone I talk to. Like that's little baby that was talked about on the radio so much.
My son's going to be 25 this year.
Right? Yeah. So that's the biggest thing. Just take the time.
So you left radio, and if I'm correct, you were at Imperial City Brewing for a while.
Yeah, that was the big thing when I left radio, is I wanted to get on the ground level of a great local business and try to help build them from within.
Yeah.
And like I started the sales department over at Imperial City Brewhouse. Josh Lyons in his top shelf, hot sauce. You know, he came to me and I helped him with sales with that for a while. Express Employment was a great 2 years of my life, learning even more about the businesses and how they interconnect in Sarnia, really getting your thumb on the pulse of the community and the labor market and everything. And now I'm over with the workplace group. So like the public sector. So now I'm just helping people find work. I think the public sector is where I belong.
But there's that word in there that you like.
Public?
Helping and
Health.
Well, yeah, helping and public, I guess 2 words in there, right? You know, and you're, because followed you from a far journey, you know, like, oh, he's doing, oh, wow, didn't see that one coming, you know, like.
I'll tell you, finding my post radio jobs have been weird. It's a bit of an identity crisis, right? Like I built my entire life towards this one thing. So trying on other jobs and stuff, it's been interesting. The things
challenging,
yeah. Definitely. I've definitely stumbled a few times. It's, you know, these are very complicated industries, and the people who are working in them here in our community are extremely good at what they do. Imperial City's awesome at what they do. Josh is out there still with like such a neat product that I still put on every slice of pizza I ever eat.
I saw him a few weeks ago, and he's still rocking it. Right?
Yeah, he came right here from Sarnia. Like, so proud of that. Over at Express Employment, they're so good at helping companies find the right person for a job. And with the workplace group, I'm learning extremely good at helping people who need help find the work they need.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. Like as we stare down a possible recession, as right now, with my thumb on the pulse of the community, we are at an all-time high for unemployment. Almost 10% of the population of our city can't find work right now.
Wow.
I feel honored to be in the position I'm in to try and help as many people as possible find the right place. I don't know if you've ever heard it from people like in Sarnia, but it's not who you are, it's who you know. Right?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
It's hard. Like that's
a part of it for sure.
Yeah, you could be like the best
you still
qualified.
Gotta have some skills.
Oh, for sure. But this person's nephew also applied, and they're just gonna get it. Sorry, they won't tell you that, of course. But there's a lot of that in Sarnia, and I love that I could be that for anybody else.
The connector.
Once you know me, I can help you. Like, you're my connection now.
Yeah.
I can help open a door for you. I know who runs this place, or I know the phone number for the people who are hiring over here. Like, I can make that call on your behalf. I can help you cut through the chaff and get right to it.
Sure.
And through Express, I learned a lot about how to do that. And it's my favorite part of that line of work, of employment services and anything like that, is being a voice for people who are just, you know, one of 300 resumes. That could feel like you're throwing it into a black hole on Indeed sometimes. Like, it's rough right now.
I wouldn't even know. I don't even think I'd know how to apply for a job. Like, I haven't made a resume. Like, is resumeing still a thing?
Resumeing is still a thing, but pounding the pavement really isn't. There's so many businesses now that'll just tell you to apply online.
Yeah.
You don't get that smile and that handshake.
still
You don't
want
get that.
though.
You don't get that 2 seconds of time to just also, on top of your resume, give just a little slice of yourself to try and, you know, make an impression. You don't get that anymore. You're just one of 300 pieces of paper getting launched at a very exhausted person who doesn't have the time and energy to go through them all. That's why companies like Express are great. That's why companies like the Workplace Group are great.
If you have a teenager today, like, because I remember my son when he was like 13, 14, 15, and I sent him out one day. I said, go get on, he had a scooter.
Yeah.
I said, get out there, and here's a resume, and printed it off, and I'm not silly to the fact that technology's changed. I'm kind of in that realm, right? But he went out and he did get a job because he did that. Because I remember being told, like, you know, like whatever, 80% of the jobs are not even advertised or whatever. And he did get a job, but then later in life, as he's grown, like, he's like, yeah, I went in there and they didn't even want my piece of paper. They said apply online. And I'm just like, I want to shake your hand, or I want to at least look you in the eye.
Human connection.
Right.
It's something we need more of.
I don't know how, so I know some people who got an email, said, we'd like to offer you this job. They never met, nothing. It was just an online resume, and yep, we like you. It's like, do you even want to see what I look like?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's why connections are even more important than ever. Whether it is your uncle's over at this place, like, you got to use every angle you can. It's so competitive right now. It's so competitive. And I talk to a lot of people, I interview a lot of people looking for work, and like, you can see the chip on their shoulder, the anger growing, the hopelessness. Like, it's brutal. And as of, you know, a couple days ago, when now we're in a trade war with our greatest trading partner, the United States, like, they're trying to take our manufacturing jobs. They're trying to take Canada's warehousing, like, any of those sectors that are so reliant on, like, it's going to hurt.
So you're saying 10% in our community? Is that what
10% is the current rate
now, is
for
that,
unemployment.
I'll stir the pot a little bit here, but is that, you say people can't find jobs. They can't find jobs, or there's jobs out there, but they don't want those jobs?
No. I've seen a lot of people who are, they'll clean your toilet. They'll do anything to just get back to work.
Because the rumblings I hear, especially in the restaurant bar business, we probably know a lot of the same people there, and they've said, I can't find people to work.
It's a fine line to walk. Generations are different, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of the bar industry, right? Like, it's a lot of the younger generation who are making that, like, just coming up and working those kinds of jobs. And they don't want to go to work just to be reminded they're poor anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you can't make a living wage, and it's hard. So, like, I understand that companies need to make profit, and people need to make living wages. And somewhere along the line, the system's become so screwy. You have no fault to employers or employees. Something at the higher level has gone completely wrong at this point. And
I think it was broke a long time ago, Max. You and I talked a little bit before we started the camera. Like, but there is a new way of making money, you know, like online influencers.
You're doing it, man.
That's a career, right? You know, or being a Twitch. I taught it at the college, right? So there is one of my mentors who's, I think he's like 32 now, and he's a bazillionaire, said, if you're over the age of 18 in North America or Europe, there's absolutely no reason for you to not be making an income because of the internet.
I think about it all the time. I was a person who was so into video games, had such a big personality. If I just would have switched on the crappiest camera available for webcam back in 2009,
why don't you?
I could have. Oh, now it's
why not?
Ugh.
I'm not saying quit your job and do it, but you could like work full time at your job and part time on your fortune, kind of thing.
You ever heard that saying? I don't got that dog in me.
Yeah.
I don't got that dog.
Well, there's
in me.
a discipline to it. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hours to it. Ask my wife.
Like, I love the idea. Like this, you invited me here and we're just having a chat.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know how much work you have to do. You have to edit this after.
Yeah.
You have to market it after and get it out to all the social. There's a lot of work.
Create a brand and all that.
Yeah. You had to book me. You had to, like, there's so much involved other than just switching a camera on and talking. A lot of people don't think about it.
But that's where it starts.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I started and it just, I don't know. Do you know what you're doing? Nope. I'm just going to do it. But I mean, do you get people, do you have that kind of opportunities that come through there as well? Or is it strictly the classic job?
Yeah. I've been trying to make it work with the classic job. I like having a threshold and a time. I need to be here at this time.
But I get
to leave at this time.
Right.
I cross this threshold. And then I leave that threshold, and everything stays there.
But I mean, people coming in looking for work, is that something that's part of that world too?
Like
or not yet.
No, not really. It's up to any individual to try to bootstrap any of these new ways of trying to make money. A lot of people are trying to look the original way. For anyone who's looking for work right now, you really have to take a deep look inside and think about where you see yourself and how you're going to get there.
Yeah.
Is it working a job like your parents did, or is it forging a path? And a lot of people don't have that luxury to be able to even pursue bootstrapping their own podcast or anything like that. So I don't know. It's hard, and there's going to be a lot less jobs soon. So creating them is a viable option. Create your own if you're not finding what you need. But for a lot of people, they just want to pay bills and live and be a contributing member of the economy. So you
got a big challenging job going on there at the workplace group now.
And I feel honored to, like I said, to be part of it. I hope that through them, through the workplace group, I'm able to really line good jobs with good people, be that guy who can broker those kind of deals, fast track them into places they wouldn't have been able to access without me. Like that is one of my favorite parts of this line of work.
Yeah, and you're in a good place there because you got some welcoming, like Nolene's there.
Yeah, Nolene, yeah.
And the rest of the crew, some of them have been there quite a while, right?
Indeed. I was surprised, like the workplace group is it's almost 50 years old.
Yep.
50 years that's been running here. And it's government funded. It's a service to
take advantage of it, right?
To job seekers and employers. Yeah. So
no, they're very helpful, and they know a lot of the programs that are out there that can help. Like if you start a new job, sometimes there's little supports for you buy steel toe boots or something.
Or you need your BSO. Like, hey, you want to work in the valley at all? You need basic safety orientation for bases or anything like that, and that costs like $300 now. So unless a company's paying for it, it's hard to get. But if you have these services that'll get you back on your feet, get you what you need, get you your new work clothes and pay for your work boots and hard hat, then you're much more viable for employment again, and then off you go. Finding those opportunities will be my job, and then helping the right people find those opportunities, or helping those opportunities find those people, will be what I do going forward.
I think you're a great choice for it. I mean, because you're talking right now, your heart's in it.
Yeah.
It's not just a job. I mean, it's a job, it's a career, I should say.
No, I definitely feel it. It's the good work, and I'm still in the middle of my post-radio identity crisis, but this is a good lead.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to.
Well, it beats sitting around trying to figure it out. I know a lot of people like those. Well, what am I going to do with my life? Well, the first thing you got to do is get out of the chair and go out the door. Like, you can't just sit there thinking about it. Sure, sit down, write out a plan, maybe, but there's a roadmap, right? But then you road map going to Toronto, and there's construction. You got to take a detour, and you got to jump over hurdles, or maybe once in a while you run out of gas.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get a flat tire.
My first job was in a tiny mining town,
right.
8.5 hours
You
north
just stare
of
at the flat tire though, Max, and the car's not going anywhere. Or you can go, okay, I got to find a way to put some air in that tire. It's all that stuff, right? And I think part of your job too is probably, people, it's not your job to motivate people. People got to find a way to motivate themselves, but maybe inspire people and put something in them that says, you do have skills. You
do have value.
You do have value. Confidence, I think, would be a big thing for a lot of people. There's a lot of nasty self-talk going on out there. Let's talk about mental health.
Yeah.
And that's something that you haven't been shy about sharing with as well.
No, I have no problem saying that I've been riding low last couple of years with the state of the world, with the state of, you flick on the news and you scroll through like the sum of all human suffering every day. I've had to remove all like the news apps from my phone.
See, I don't watch it. You know what CNN stands for?
What?
Constantly negative news.
Ugh.
So I just don't even turn it on.
Back in the day, they said if it bleeds, it leads.
Right.
But now that's like, I think,
True.
I honestly,
Jerry Springer.
I honestly think the 24-hour news cycle was the worst thing to ever happen to our species. That need to constantly have news. Back in the day, like when I was talking about my dad.
Yeah.
If you didn't watch the news at 5, you didn't know what was going on. And it was the news.
Yeah.
One news for everybody.
The world stopped and watched the news at 5 or 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
News
Now
at
it's
11.
Now it's all fragmented.
Updates, yeah.
Do you want news that's through this lens? Do you want the news to completely just spin everything to the way you want it? Do you want the news to it's more like propaganda now than it's ever been. And
all you got to do is register a .com and you can create whatever news you want.
Yeah, and people have. I don't know. We're all more fragmented than ever, and mental health is something. Yeah, it takes a lot of work. I've seen you on social media. LinkedIn is the only social media I have. Yeah, but you're active on there, and you post a lot of inspiring. I could tell that you're in that grind as well, and positivity and putting those vibes out there is so important. Yep. And I talk like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm deep in the thick of it right now. This is not. I am by no means. Yeah,
but you have experiences though. I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time either, but I share my experiences and things that I've read and stuff like that. So, your mental health, what are you doing to handle it, I guess.
I'm talking to professionals, people who can give you the tools to help get around those things. Yeah. When you feel that lack of control, that lack of hope, because you look at the news and you can't control it.
Have you heard of the let them theory yet?
Let them?
It's called the let them theory by Mel Robbins.
Let them eat cake?
Mel Robbins this is a world phenomenon right now. I would encourage you to download it on Audible. Yeah. Mel Robbins, or just listen to her podcast on Spotify or YouTube or whatever. And it's the let them theory. And it's they're going to do that. Like you said, you don't have control over it. Let them. And it's tough to learn, but I would encourage you. And then if you listen to some of hers and then buy her book or Audible, and if you don't like it, I'll give you the money. Are you a hugger?
Very much so.
Yeah. Cool.
Do you want to end with that, or
we
do you want to end with a hug, or just when we get there?
Get there.
Seriously, next time you find yourself getting really angry or really upset, just hold out your hands for a hug. It's the weirdest thing, but it's hard to be angry when you're doing this.
Right.
If you're tense, but I can't. It's really hard to be angry when you're doing that.
That's awesome. There you go.
It's called willing hands.
I've never heard of that.
We focused for so long on academic intelligence when emotional intelligence is now becoming much more on the forefront.
I wish they'd teach it in school.
Yeah, emotional. Well, I guess in Australia they do because Bluey knew about it.
Right. Right. That's cool.
But I'm not sure. My daughter starts school, and I'm interested to see what a kid going to school now is going to be taught. But emotional intelligence is such a big part of it.
I'll have to call you that week and go, so how'd the first day go, Max?
Yeah. The funny thing is she's going to an all-French school, and I do not parler le français plus bon.
You're gonna.
I have to learn, or else her and her mom are going to have a secret language that I don't understand.
They will, right?
Hey, I know that word. I know that. I know what you're saying about me. No, mental health, it's paramount. Like, what are some of the things that you've been doing to try and get around it? Other than I've seen your public posts of positivity, trying to put good vibes out there.
Yeah.
What else are you doing to elevate your like mindset in the face of everything?
I'm being interviewed now. I think he just went back into radio mode.
Sorry.
That's okay. What am I? It's who I surround myself with.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Or who I don't surround myself with.
Yep.
I quit drinking.
Good for you.
Yeah, and I just I read the positive books. I listen to the books. The YouTube is all the positive stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still like to watch a good old flick once in a while, but I don't. We've deleted our Netflix and our Paramount and our Crave and our Disney.
Yep.
It's just YouTube, and we do have Prime because it comes with.
Yep.
But it's how I talk to myself.
Yeah, you're looking great, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
I gotta mention, like, what are you doing? Because I've only gotten fatter recently, so like, what do you?
Well, I quit drinking.
I guess that
was huge.
That would probably do it.
Well, anyway, that's another story. But
so
no, I just changed, life change, and that helped, and getting rid of certain foods, and I don't eat 2 bags of chips a week, and
self-control. What's that feel like?
It's not even. Yeah, right. It's
not even. What does it feel like to not like give into every impulse you have?
But somebody said to me, I forget where we were. We were out and about, and they asked me, and I said, I quit drinking. It was in January, so everybody was telling everybody, and they're like, "Oh, you're doing the dry January thing," and I'm like, "Nope, I'm done." And if you knew me back then, through all those years of working in the bar, like it was in my life. So they said, "You must have a lot of willpower," and I said, "Willpower's got nothing to do with it." It was tougher to make the decision to do it than it was to do it. Once you decide, like aside, homicide, suicide, genocide, it all means to kill. So when you decide something, it's over. So since January 1st to today, I haven't, not one drop, because I'm just not gonna. It's easy to do. It's easy not to do is the problem.
Oh, well done.
Right? Well, I would like to say I come up with that, but it came from one of the books that I read. So it again, that affected.
Again, mental. It's your mental diet. Like, for
I
instance,
think you should start a podcast. He's interviewing me, and I've got to end it because we're running out of time. But
I'll do another hug.
I'm so absolutely. Well, we'll do this. And we'll be
the
on a camera. The bro hug.
Okay, sure. No, we're still cool, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We talked about our feelings, but we're still cool.
Yeah, we're still cool.
We're still cool.
Good.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
sports.
Thank you very much. Max
NASCAR.
Major, everybody, and thanks so much, Max, and all the best to your wife and your daughter. And I'm going to call them on the first day of school and ask them how that went. But as always, click the like, the love, and of course the share button so we can share Max's story and everybody else that I have here on the show. But as always, that's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. We'll see you next time right here in the show. Bye for now.
Have your pets spayed or neutered.
Right.